Hello everybody, this is Lacerina from Lacerina's Odds and Ends, and today I'm going to show you how to speed weave this really cool scale mail pendant necklace. So the supplies you'll need today are 13 small scales. I buy mine from theringlord.com. The design I'm going to do today is a rainbow design, so I have my rainbow colors already picked out and lined up. You need 13 3/16 inch 16 gauge rings. You need 13 5/16 inch 16 gauge rings and 3 1/4 inch 16 gauge rings. Your pendant base, which is going to be a 1.5 inch 10 gauge, and this is a welded stainless steel, also from the Ring Lord, and a chain. And of course, you always need your pliers. These are just cheap ones from Joann's, and they don't have teeth on them, so they won't scratch the aluminum. One of the best things about speed weaving is that it can be a quick project for you to do, and it doesn't take much time sometimes. So with speed weaving, what you always want to do is open all your rings beforehand, have all your supplies laid out, and then that makes the project much faster and easier to complete. Okay, so what I'm going to get started by doing is I'm going to take my 5/16 inch 16 gauge rings, and I'm going to pick up 2 scales that are going to be next to each other in the pattern, and just start by going through and putting them on the ring. And I'm going to put all of these on. So here we go. And you pick up the next ring and you put it on top like that. You're not going through the first ring at all, so the first ring is just going to be right there. You go through the second ring, put your right there, go through, and then close the ring around the large ring. Okay, next is purple, and we're holding the yellow and the orange off to the side and just going through the red and purple scales. I'm going to try to pick up the speed a little bit on this. Okay, next is blue. So what we are doing is we're spacing these out. They're going around in a circle. Don't worry if your scales get turned around a little bit. I will show you how to reline them up at the end. They're going to get a little bit twisted, so. And I'm still only using the 5/16 inch rings. Yeah, see, these are completely all wound around now. Okay, yellow again. Sorry about my hands being in the way. So, since this pattern, since rainbow, I usually use 6 colors and do everything in multiples of 6. Since this project requires 13 rings, I decided to throw a pink one in there to add to it. So I have the 12 rainbows and then 1 extra pink one in there. Hopefully that'll be a cute little addition into the pattern. Here comes the pink. Next is red. purple. Almost forgot the scale there for a second. Blue is next. We're getting to the end of the scales here. So, looks like I accidentally opened up too many 15 gauge or 5/16 inch rings there. Let's see how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so yeah, I did have extras. Oops. Oh, no, wait, I didn't mix in. Oh, I did. Oh, no. Alright, well, if you make a mistake, just go back, open it, and do it again. These are actually the 1/4 inch rings right here, and they're not supposed to be in this part of the pattern. Normally, I have my rings a little bit farther separated, or I will pull out the rings at the time that I need them. So, whoops, I made a mistake. But it's easy to fix. This, the way that I do this weave, or this project right here, makes it a little bit easier because it starts out pretty loose and then you tighten it up in later steps. Okay. I have one more, oops, I have one more mistake on here. We will be ready for the next step. So these rings that I accidentally put on here are the 1/4 inch, not the 5/16 inch ones. So. Them to the other side of the table. And here's my last ring right here. So. All right. Okay, so you have all your rings are on there now. So what you want to do is make sure that the pattern is straight. So you want all the rings to be like this. Let's see how this blue one's out incorrectly. So we need to flip it over. The purple one's out too. So basically, you just need to flip it over the top so that it lines up correctly. So the orange is supposed to be in the back, and the yellow is supposed to be behind the orange. So now it looks like they're all lined up correctly. You put it out flat like that, and you have your pattern. So I'm holding the big ring like this right now. So what you want to do is carefully make sure your pattern doesn't get messed up. Kind of flip it over, and the rings are going to naturally spread out by themselves to make sure that green doesn't get flipped over there. Okay, so this orange and yellow one on the back need to be pointed the other direction. So right now we are turning. Wait. Okay. Alright, okay, let's start over. I messed that one up there, didn't I? Okay. Make sure our patterns are nice and flattened out. You need to decide which direction your rings are going to go, so let's have the everything going this direction right here. So this can be a little bit tricky getting it to line up correctly. So what we are trying to do is put this yellow and green one close enough to each other so that we can connect on the other side. So we're just stretching it out, making sure that the rings are all pointed in a circle. They're all pointed the correct direction they're supposed to go. So they're supposed to be pointed this way, around this way. So the yellow goes on top of the green here. All right. So I'm going to pick up this last 5/16 inch ring. This part can be a little bit tricky. So you want this ring to go through the green one. Just stretch it over there until we can get it close enough. I can see it going, about to go in. Let's turn this. Let's turn this. Oh! Did I dropped it? Oh yeah. Okay. Grab it, pull it up. Let's see if we can get that restarted. Okay. You know, it might be a little bit easier if I change the direction my ring is open. So let's put this part in the back. So we'll just open it that direction. See if that helps. Okay. And I dropped it, of course. Alright. Pattern, it's kind of nice. Flip it over. Let's turn the rings this way. There we go. Alright, let's stretch out that green and that yellow. Try to get them to meet in the middle. Okay. There, I almost got the ring to go through that green one. Come on. This part can be a little bit difficult because we're just tightening it up. Okay, I think I got it to go through the two places where it's supposed to go through now. So let's close this ring. Okay, now what we need to do is turn all the scales around so that they're pointed in the correct direction. Make sure that looks right. There we go. We can kind of see what it's starting to look like. The finished product is going to be very close to this. So the next step, now that we have all the scales pointing in the correct direction, I find it's easier to put the, when we start tightening it up, we're going to put the smaller rings on now. So these are the 3/16 inch 16 gauge rings. And what you want is for each one of these rings to only go through one of the scales. So the other rings went through 2 scales, these are just going through 1 scale each. And this will help to tighten up the pattern a lot. So normally I pick a spot and then just go for it. So this will help the scales stay pointed in the correct direction. So all I did was put it through 1 scale and then around the big ring. There's the first one. Okay, let's put all the rest of them on. It doesn't matter which direction you go, it's personal preference. If you want to go counterclockwise or clockwise, I'm just going to go clockwise because it's a little bit easier for me. I'm right-handed, so normally do things in the clockwise direction. This little ring isn't open far enough. That's one thing that you want to make sure. Since this 10 gauge ring is so thick, these little rings have to be opened wider. They're a little bit harder to manage because they are a thick gauge for that small size. So once you get, there we go, got it on there. Okay, I'm gonna grab that. I'm clumsy. There we go, I got it. Yeah. These smaller rings are going to be a lot harder to close because it's getting tight. Two of the smaller ones on. Let's go to the next one. For me, this part is the hardest part of this project, and it takes me the longest. Y'all can probably hear my washing machine in the background. There we go. Okay. Next. Oh, I guess I'm going counterclockwise now. Just whatever's easiest. See, I just did that red, so the pink one's next. Okay. Once you get into this part of the weave a little bit, like you get a couple of rings on, it gets a little bit easier because the rings are starting to line up by themselves. Whoops. Let's turn the camera back a little. Oh! Gotta be careful. There we go. Now I got that ring closed. And I'm back. Sorry about that. For some reason my camera turned off in the middle of filming. Okay, so I have completed putting the small rings in all the way around. And as you notice, this is still kind of a loose. It's still really loose. It's not tight enough yet. And the rings are going to move around quite a bit. So what we are going to do is we are going to put some rings on the back to tighten that up, to keep it from wiggling around too much. So let's get started with that. These are the 1/4 inch 16 gauge rings right here. And we are going to have them going through 2 scales. And then one, so we're going to do 2 rings at the top and 1 at the bottom right there. So let's get started. Start by going through, and it doesn't matter which 2 scales you go. I do have a preference in putting the way the pendant's facing, so the 2 rings on the top are normally where I put the chain in. So I'm just gonna do it on the pink one, since that is the different scale in this pattern. Maybe that'll make it look a little bit cool. So I am going to put it through 2 and then close that up. Alright, grab another ring and put it through 2 scales and then close that up. And that should already be much tighter, but just to make it even a little bit less floppy, let's put 1 down in the bottom here. So I normally put 3 in these. So if your preference is for it to be a little bit tighter or a little bit looser, then you'll need more or less of these rings on the back here. And I'm having trouble getting it in. It's already a little bit. Pendant itself is complete. Like to kind of poke it a little bit, move the rings about. If you prefer it to be a little bit tighter, then you're going to have to put a couple more on the back. So the next step is to put your chain on it. And this chain right here is just one that I got from eBay. It's just a cheapo little chain. You can use, you can actually make a chainmail chain to attach to it, or you know, it's up to you. It's whatever your preference is. So what I'm going to do is go through this ring right here, so that the pink one will be on top. Just put it through and close it up. And there you go. We made a turbine pendant. Very fast and very easy. Thank you so much for watching. If you want, you can check out my store on Etsy. It's shop.etsy.com/Glass Arena. Thank you so much.